Good morning, good morning, good morning. You guys are rocking with Purple Patches Boutique, and you guys should know who I am by now. It's official. I am Ulysses Clark, and I am officially your weatherman, your Purple Patches Live news break analyst, your promoter, giving you the best, the do's, the don'ts, the what's upcoming, the daily news for your Purple Patch Boutique. And I'm sending this out to the community, to the family, to all of you, okay? Sellers, shoppers included, clients, customers, you name it, we got it, okay? So I just want to welcome you guys today to this this day. You know, today is, I guess, across the country is a Remembrance Day, but a sad day. Some say, but I don't look at it as a sad day. I look at it as a day of change, a day of happenings, and we still can be thankful. So it's so much to be thankful for, even on a day like today of everything, okay? So I don't want any tears, any sadness. Remember, things happen today to set things in motion in order for you to be thankful, for you to appreciate, and that's the most important thing, okay? So welcome to our live show. I'm so glad to be here. I'm here to give you some information, very quick, very brief, and then I'm going to be out of you guys' way so you can enjoy the rest of your day and do the things that you need to do, okay? But when we start off, I want to take a moment of silence for 9/11, okay? And I'm going to do that right now. Okay, very brief. I remember 9/11. I can tell you guys 9/11, where I was at Fort Lee, Virginia. I was in AIT. And early that day, my instructor said that he has a feeling that something's going to hit the fan. And they said they had been waiting for this since 1992. And then all of a sudden, my drill sergeant, senior drill sergeant Winters, he was the drill sergeant on the cycle, had the gold belt. He came in and he said, everybody get to the day room. So we went to the day room, all of us included, and they said it just hit the fan. And that's when they said what happened, you know, to the towers and 9/11, on 9/11, and it was rolling. And then I remember they told us that time, they told us, good morning, Miss Green. They said that some of us were going to be involved. Some of us are going to get sent directly there. And I remember 3 guys got pulled out of the class. They went directly over there. I remember being there that time, and I started my train up 4 months after that at NTC, which is the National Training Center in Fort Irwin, California. Then we went into 24-hour operations. We went in, we were supposed to spearhead Baghdad that time with the Marines, 3rd ID. I was with 4th ID. We couldn't get through Turkey, so we came in through the railhead, through the boats. And then I remember jumping in there, boots on the ground, not, you know, more than a song. I was there when it first started. So with the invasion force. So our job was different than what they had later on. I remember being missing in action 11 days. I remember getting up to my unit, and my actual brigade, which is 1st BCT Raider Brigade, is the one that caught Saddam that time out there in Iraq in South the Creek, which is where I was. I was at 5 Omaha, right down the road from the BSA. So I was 20 years old then. Spent my 21st birthday out there. So it was a long time ago. Hard time. I lost a lot of people that year. So, you know, it seemed like it just happened, and probably not even 8 months later, I was gone. So I didn't know if I was going to see my mother again. We couldn't disclose where we were at. There was no EOD. It was a mess, but we went and we got it done. So, anybody out there that was there during that time frame, anybody that served, you know, I tip my hat off to you. Those of you in New York that went through that experience, and the people that, you know, the families that felt it worldwide. We went out there and got the job done for you guys after that. We did. We can't change what happened, but we tried to do what we could when we went out there. So hopefully that made a little difference in you guys' lives. So just wanted to let you guys know that, okay? And I'm going to move past that. because that's a difficult time for a lot of people. But we all smiles, right? So that's a message from my mom. I got to talk to her after this. Don't forget the prayer room, okay? So if you need those prayers today, if you need prayers, reach out to my mother directly. I had one of my clients had reached out, having some tough times in the hospital. Hadn't seen her in a while, but I'm always checking every week or two. And she said that, hey, she's been difficult. Give your mother my phone number so she can call me directly. My mother called her, I think it was yesterday. They had a great conversation. She came back. She says, oh, man, I love your mother. I appreciate her calling. So it was important that happened. So good morning, Miss Overdone. So if you guys are in that prayer room, right, and you have something and you specifically want to talk, let me know. Send your phone number to my mother. She'll give you a call. She'll check on you. And she'll pray with you. She'll do all those great, lovely things like the lovely lady that she is, okay? So don't forget about that. The prayer room is very important. Very important. We all need prayer. So I'm going to start this off, okay? Please, no bookings in October, all right? The whole calendar, the whole format, the whole schematics for Purple Passion is going to change, as I was pre-warning you about, and I'm going to talk about those changes. So those of you that are here, you're going to get that information firsthand, but please don't make any bookings in October. If you book, those dates will be canceled promptly, but I want you to keep those dates on your calendar. So when it does open up, you can go ahead and schedule those dates again. But if you've already booked, or if you're thinking about booking, because I think the first week is open, do not book because they're going to get canceled. I want you to keep those dates, okay? And you're going to, because once the changes come, you're going to have to decide if you still want those days, etc., okay? So that's why I don't want you to book right now, okay? So please do not book, but keep those dates in your mind, in your calendar, in your memo, however you want to do it, okay? All right, so the question of the week of the month has been, what are our rates going to be, right? What are our rates going to be for October? Thank you, babe. You hear it? She like, she's the traffic from over there, right? So she's tagging everybody. So she's still here. She can hear you. She's inside of the live. So if you want to speak to her, my wife is here. It's not just me. So you can say, I think you got a good morning, beautiful from Miss Verdun. So, so I just want you guys to know that's been the question. What are we going to do? Everybody got nervous. They're like, oh my God, they're going to charge all this money like all these other platforms and, etc. And I said, no, I'm not going to do it. So I'm going to tell you, our rates for next month are going to be $7.77 per live. Okay? $7.77 per live. I would say it a third time. Our rates for next month for one live show, which is going to be an hour and a half, is going to be $7.77. 777. Okay? If you want a live and a booster, that's going to be $15. 15. If you want a live show, which is $777, and a booster, which is normally $10, we roll that up. That is going to be a $15 flat price. Okay? So if you would like a live and a booster, it's going to be $15. 15, okay? If you want unlimited lives for the month, it's going to be $50, okay? It's going to be $50 for unlimited lives for the month, okay? So if you want to go unlimited, it's going to be $50 a month. As many lives as you can fit in. You can go live every day. You can go live twice a day. You can go live 3 times a day if the slots are available. The slots are available and you want to go, there you go, okay? So that includes the picture wall drop, okay? Your picture wall drops are free. We're not paying for picture wall drops. So that also means that the cancellation fee is no longer there as of October 1st. Why? Because your lives, when you pay for it, is going to be non-refundable. So if you don't make that live, then you lost your $7.77 or whatever price you paid. The prices are non-refundable. So therefore, there is no cancellation fee, okay? So that means that when you schedule, your fees are due upon scheduling, okay? Now, all that's going to change is October 1st, but these are the numbers we have right now. They could change. They may or may not change, but right now, this is what we got set in stone per my wife, per myself, and our admins, okay? I want you to understand I have 2 admins, okay? I have Latoya Coleman as my admin, and I have Trisha Michael as my admin, okay? So we have our admin expert, and we have our admin moderator, and our idea bringer and maker, our innovator, we like to call her our little side idea genius, and that's Trisha Michael. So a lot of the programs that you see on there, as far as your Purple Pay and stuff like that, she is responsible for those things. Okay, so she's also in charge of the VIP group. Okay, so she is Trisha Michael. She is one of our admins. Latoya Coleman's our admin. Okay, so those will be the two admins you'll be dealing with outside of me and my wife. Okay, you guys know both of us. So I want to let you guys know that. Okay, so that way you know who you're going to be dealing with, who you can message in the event if you have questions. And if they can't answer it, we'll figure it out together, or they'll get with us. Somebody will be able to get your answer and figure it out. Okay. So again, our rates for next month will be per live show $7.77. If you want a live and a booster, it will be $15. If you want unlimited lives for the month, it's going to be $50. Picture wall drops are free. That's for seller and shopper. Okay. Now, shoppers, remember, if you want to be inside the VIP exclusive lounge, okay, there's only one, the VIP exclusive lounge, okay, then you're going to pay that $10 annual fee. And that's going to be for a year, from August to August. It's going to be for a year, okay? I think I've got 3 subscribers on that, okay, already. So that means that if you're a shopper, you know, a customer, client, and you would like to put something that you have, like I said, I always say like a baby stroller, because, you know, like the winter times when everybody get close, and then, you know, summertime to bringing out the babies, because you have the winter time, everyone's get close and snuggle, and then they start making babies. So if you got any of that stuff, and you know, or anything, you can put it on there for free, and, you know, get it sold, get it out of your house, you know, make you a few dollars for your pocket for the holidays, etc. Okay, so that is why I say that. So that means that your shoppers can also post on that picture wall, right? Okay. Can we use your bot? No, we are not allowed to share bots, okay? We are not allowed to share bots, okay? So that is something that came directly from Gary at Loyal Shops. He says that there should be no bot sharing. I know you may see it somewhere. You may see other platforms do it, because I know a few that do. It is absolutely 100% a no-go. So, and if you have any questions on that, you can actually check with Gary. I also ask all sellers, I want you to look up Gary and look up his pages. He has all this information and links. I'm actually going to probably take one of his links and maybe transcribe it and put that information in there along with the link, so that way you have it, because he's now updated Loyal Shops. I don't know if you guys have noticed the changes, and I don't know if you guys have looked at any of that information that's going on in there, but you need to be able to know that it has changed, and you need to stay up to date with that kind of stuff. So I've got a couple of links. I'm still dealing with those. I'm going to try to get them on the page, so that way it's specifically on that and you can look at those links. But one of the things I spoke with him about was that about sharing bots, and he said, no, that's a no-go. You shouldn't do it, okay? So if you want to get the live assistant or the bot, okay, go to our calendar. On our calendar, when you pull it up, it has a link there that you can click on. It'll take you inside, and you can purchase the bot. The bot is $14.99. For the pro, it's going to be $24.99. The difference is that you're going to get more options and more perks as far as passes and different things like that. So you will be able to manage a little bit more. And I always say that the pro, the $24.99 is better. That's what I have. That's what a lot of sellers have. The $14.99 is just fine, though. I also understand that you have your landing pages on there. So if you need to set up an inventory, online CSV, anything from Shopify, or if you have an online or on-hand demand or on-hand products and a lot of it in a good quantity, then guess what? You can get with Gary. Gary will help you upload it on there, and you can have Loyal Shops doing all your work for you, and you won't have to touch anything but a look and see when it says to pack up the stuff. You pack it up and you send it out. So look at that. They also do web pages over there. Gary does. So that's all information you can reach out to him about. So you can, you know, push that stuff over there to him, and he's going to do a very superb job on doing that for you. Okay. So keep that in mind. So the easiest way is to go through our calendar, click on the link. It's going to take you directly inside to Loyal Shops, and you can get your bot, your live assistant. I call it your personal secretary. It will do wonders for you. But on our platform, there will be no sharing. And that is just per what Gary Elasa said. He said no. So just so you guys know, okay? to finish up that, lives are non-refundable. There is no cancellation fee because the lives are non-refundable. So if you schedule, you don't make it, you lose that price that you pay, that fee that you paid. Okay, fees are due upon your scheduling. Okay, not later, not after. Okay. Now on to the next thing because I've almost got all my points covered. Um, while you're alive, queens, gentlemen, kings. Okay. There's absolutely no eating on camera. Okay. So I'm just gonna speak on that briefly. I don't want to see anybody eating on camera because it disrupts the functionality of your live show. You're not paying your clients attention. Your clients cannot even focus on you if you're eating. I need you guys to be squared away. Eat before that. If you got to step outside of the camera and do something, then that's fine for maybe 2 seconds. Okay. I don't recommend that, but I'm just saying sometimes people don't want to drink their water in front, so they'll step over to the side and drink. Okay. So your throat may get dry. You may need to drink some water. That's fine. Okay. You guys know that on Purple Patches, we have a no drug policy. Okay. No drinking alcohol on lives. Okay. And no falling asleep. And I'm putting that out there. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I pride myself on being South Con. South Con means to be absolutely pure. So that means every decision that I make, I want it to be of a clear, conscious mind. I have problems taking over-the-counter medicine anyway. You know, I'm trying not to take anything. If I have to take it, I take what I need. I'd rather suffer through the pain and let my body heal on its own than go through anything, okay? So that's just me. I'm not saying that anybody should stop or change any habits for themselves. I'm just telling you about myself. But on our platform, structures and standards and discipline, okay? We're not going to be on live shows high on drugs. We're not going to be on the drunk. We're not going to be drinking or using while we on these live shows, and we're not going to be falling asleep on our live shows. If you're tired, you guys take time, go take your break. You know, don't cancel your live show. That's the best thing, okay? So I'm just telling you guys, it's rude, it's disrespectful, you know, and I'm going to touch on the manners and courtesies and why I feel like a lot of these things are that way. And it's just Mr. Clark's opinion. Everybody can look at Mr. Clark and say, hey, Mr. Clark, you guys got all these rules and this platform, that. I'm not the other platform, you know, and I'm not on the, how you doing, Miss Hodges? And I'm not speaking on other platforms. Other platforms can do whatever it is that they want to do. I want to run a structured environment so you guys feel comfortable, you feel safe, and you guys can get catered to and get the attention that you need, you know, and everything is essentially about you guys, not about me. But when I see people on there doing these things, I'm like, it's rude and disrespectful. You know, I come from a mother that's 5'1", you know, and she's not having it. You know, she don't even play the radio. Okay. So, and that's the woman in that chat room. That's the sweetheart. You know, she just raised in that way. And I keep those same standards, you know, and when you're in there and you're eating in front of people, that means that you don't have any care and concern for what your job is. Okay. There's a time and place for everything. It's a time to eat. It's a time to do everything else. Now, I understand that you may need to drink some water or something like that, or drink something. That's okay. But, it's just not feasible to do that on a platform. I just feel like that's just disrespectful and it shouldn't happen. Okay. So, also, if you're sick, coughing, sneezing, snotting, dripping, etc., if you got a lot going on here, congestion, and you're sneezing it out and stuff like that, cancel your live, get yourself together, get healthy, and come back and do it when you're on a positive foot. I tell you that because, you know, stuff is transferring. You got flesh-eating bacteria right now. You got COVID back now. You got measles outbreak coming out again, you know, and that's happening because they scared everybody with the COVID. Everybody got this COVID shot, but didn't even stop COVID. And now people are like, I'm not going to get this shot now because I don't know what they're going to give me. And if I should get the shot, now everybody's running around sick, okay? So if you are sick, if you're not feeling well, and it happens, okay? You may catch a flu. Hey, my son is 10, right? I mean, I'm not 10. My son is 12, right? He acts like he's 10. You know, I always tell him, that's why I said that. But my son is 12, right? He's going on 13. Sometimes I think he's 12 going on 6, right? But just by some of the things he does. But my son is around children all the time. They want to dap each other up. I love you, man, and hug everybody. Then he comes in. He has all this congestion, and he's only been in school a week. And I'm like, oh, my goodness, right? And then next thing you know, you're sick, and you don't know how, okay? So it's you got to take care of yourself. It's going to happen. So, you know, take care of yourself, but don't come into the live, you know, be like, this item number 3, and then you sneeze on it and be like, it's going to be $5. And then you look and then you wonder why you have 55 people, it dropped to 20, and then everybody starts passing on your stuff. You sneezed on the clothes, they feel like you sick, they don't want any sickness. People are terrified of sickness right now. Look at the scare we've had over the past 4 or 5 years. We leaving, all right? So if you dripping, you snotting, you got, I mean, if you if you sick and you coughing and you're not feeling good, please cancel your live, okay? How you doing, Miss Woosley? Good morning, okay? So, they say, oh my God, saw this girl, she was, Miss Anna, she's eating a whole plate of food. Well, shoot, I hope she was like telling you guys about the food if she was eating a whole plate of food, you know? You know, but I'm just saying, we don't want you dripping, you in there and you got all kinds of stuff running down the side of your face. You know, your eyes is leaking. You're in there like this and you don't know what's going on, okay? We need to make sure that, how you doing, Miss Muhammad? I want to make sure that you guys are squared away, okay? So we're not going to do that, okay? Now, I want to talk on respect and courtesy, okay? Now, this is a big and a touchy subject. So I'm going to try to facilitate this in a positive way. Oh, excuse me, Queens. I'm sorry. I done stepped out of the screen myself. I'm wondering why I can't see comments and I don't even have my screen down. So let me pull this down. Okay, there we go. So, almost fell. Okay. So, respect and courtesy. So I jumped over a couple points. I want to go to this one right now since we're here, okay? When you go through training with me, I'm going to train you on demographics. I'm going to train you on a lot of different things. I'm going to train you on some practices that I brought into myself, into the thrifting world that nobody's brought here before to help people better understand things, right? So one of the things I talk about is respect and courtesy and mannerisms, right? So that kind of extends a little bit more. Hold on, Miss Alicia. What you got for me? Hold on, Queens. She said, speaking of smoking, I don't care what people do, but please be mindful if you are a weed smoker. Please make come on, Miss Alicia. If you're a weed smoker, please make sure your goods don't smell like that. I got a package that's sent in my mailbox for 2. Oh my goodness. And smelled like it was fresh off the ganja farm in Jamaica. Woo! Oh man, I tell you what, I love it when my queens is in here. You guys be okay. So let me hit that. Before I go back, okay. Listen, if you smoking weed and it's recreational, right? Since everybody says it's okay and God made this and that, God didn't tell you to smoke a plant. God don't give you nothing that damages your body, and it is not healed nothing. It's just made some things a little bit lighter. Go check on the original uses for it. But if you go to Harvard University, they'll tell you it hasn't helped anything and it's harmful, okay? Straight out of Harvard research, okay? But what I'm saying is, if you're going to do this, all right, do not do it around your clothes, not even your Newports or your Marlboros or whatever it is, all right? Do not smoke around the clothes. Do not have that on the clothes, and do not send it to anybody. It's just, that's poor customer service, okay? Treat it with care, like I always say. Show it with care, treat it with care. Make sure it's fresh, it smells good. Wash it if you're getting it in from other places. Wash it. You should be washing it anyway, even when you get it as the receiver. Wash it, send it. Make sure it's in a good condition. Make sure it's packed correctly. Don't ball it up. Don't send it in trash bags. Don't have your animals on it. Let's keep those things the right way, okay? So, I'm sorry I didn't even have a Miss Alicia. I hope that wasn't on my platform. But, we don't smoke around your clothes. Don't even cook around your clothes. Some people, matter of fact, I forgot about that. Somebody told me that, I guess, whatever they was cooking, they must have been cooking in the same room with the clothes. They got the clothes and they smelled like the green beans. I think there might have been some greens in there, some fried chicken, some cornbread and macaroni and cheese, right? So I'm just saying, they was upset. I don't know if it made them hungry when they got the clothes. I don't know what happened, but they were like, hey, they don't need to be cooking around the clothes and don't be making any fish and stuff like that, okay? So I'm just saying, make sure that your clothes are completely separate in a separate AO or area from where you're going to be selling and showing and sending from. Okay, so people are big on smell. Some people have allergies. I have a lot. What was it? I think it was OPD or something like that. So let's make sure that we are doing the right thing. Okay. So I'm pretty sure those clothes probably smell good. They probably thought the clothes, that special type of clothes. Okay. So what's that? Yep. Trash bag. Don't put the clothes in trash bags. You have a blowout sale, $2 for every shirt. Then you take all of it and drop it in the trash bag. You spin it around, tie it up, and you throw it inside a mailer and then send it out. That's a no-go. That's a no-go. Show it with care, send it with care. You know, you want everybody to do that for you. And that's what I always say. You know, that's manners and courtesy too. Treat others how you want to be treated, but send it how you want it to be treated. You know, some people, if they find one spot wrong when they buy it out of a store with the tag, they in the customer service raising all kinds of ruckus back there because of that, okay? So, you know, why would you send somebody's clothes on a trash bag? Please do not do that, okay? Please do not do that. And I'm saying please. But you should know on your own you shouldn't do that. But I'm saying please, okay? No harm in saying please, okay? Now on to respect and courtesy. Now, I'm going to say this in a format like this, okay? Now there is a chain, right? You got the seller, you've got the shopper, right? So you got the client and the customer, and you got the seller, right? Now just because you have a shopper doesn't mean that because you're the seller you can talk to that client anyway and be disrespectful, and it doesn't mean vice versa that person, that client can talk to the seller any kind of way and be disrespectful. Okay, so what I'm saying is this: I tell you how I practice things. Okay, everybody is initially like, you know, a ma'am. You know, it's always about respect, you know, because I believe that women should be respected at that class anyway. So they should be respected as the ladies that they are, as the gems that they are. Okay. Now, I talk to a lot of women that even if they are the client, those women are older than me, right? Like they're older than my mother. Okay. So there's a elder thing there too, right? In manners and courtesy that like I could probably be that woman's son, right? So there's a level of respect there too, because that is an elder. And just because they're shopping with me doesn't mean that I can say whatever I want to say to them. There's still a level of respect and courtesy there too, just because of age. Okay. So why am I saying this? Because there's been disputes all this week with basic mistreatment that I didn't even step in, because at the point that you are arguing, you as a seller are arguing with a client, then you want me to get involved. I'm not even getting involved in that, because that on one end, that person that's that age is already saying that I feel disrespected, not in what happened, but by age. I'm that person's senior, and then and then that person's like, well, this has happened with this person before, and then you're already in so much of an argument, and you're saying I'm canceling your invoice. Well, I don't want to pay the invoice. There's nothing I can do for that, because when people are adults, they got to come to some type of recognition and fixing things. But that's not a comfortable or good situation for me to be involved in, because I have a level of respect. It doesn't matter whether, and people, and I was like this in the military, it doesn't matter even if somebody pisses me off, right? If somebody just puts me there when I get upset, and I can take a lot, okay? I'm still, yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. I put everything in a good format. I'm not arguing. I'm not fighting. And many of you that have already dealt with me, when you've been upset, you guys will see my responses, and you won't find any madness in them. You'll see me about the right things, about the correct things, and speaking things how they are. Okay. So I'm not telling anybody how to change their etiquette. But what if you look on the pages recently, I've put a lot of things about etiquette. Why do you let the platform owner know when you cancel? Why do you do this? Public service announcement. If you go and read those things, I take my time and put my work into those. I put my time and put my stuff in the slides so that you guys can understand why it is that way, to give you the explanation. But I can't give you the explanation for attitudes. I can't give you an explanation in poor customer service, because that's not what I'm doing. I can tell you how to make it better. But we have to practice amongst ourselves in our community a better way of talking to each other and handling our situations better. Because what I saw this week was, yes,
it is at the end, right? It is that a seller is representing their own business. So, and as a business owner, you should already have some type of status that and a way to talk to your shoppers, because you want that the shoppers going to return with you and shop again. So don't mistreat your shoppers because you're mad about one situation. It can be easy fixed, you know, refunded, whatever.
Right. And like I said, I always believe there's a solution. I've got shoppers that are working 16 to 18 hours a day. They can't get the invoices. Okay. So at the end of the day, you have to practice patience in life. You have to practice understanding in life. You have to practice etiquette in life. These things you have to practice, okay? Because if you're going to run through life and feel like everything's your way and say anything off the top of your head when you're upset without any real solutions, you're not going to get far. You're going to get a lot of doors closed, okay? And those doors will not open again. As a business owner, as my wife said, you should know how to speak to your clients. And I don't step on how you speak to them. But what I will say is that you're representing your business. And on top of that, if you're on my platform, you're representing my platform. And most of the time when something happens, they're not coming to you, they're coming directly to me. And then I'm getting this half of the story. And then when I talk to this person, I'm getting the other half of the story. And then I'm making a decision, or I'm figuring out how I can put it together and fix it. And most of the time I'm successful in fixing situations. But it's just some situations I'm not touching. I've been in situations where I seen two people that gave me both stories and they were both lying at different points. But guess what? The situation still worked out. Okay? So,
also,
yes.
I have another point before you finish. And the point is replay shoppers. So, and this is for the shoppers now. And sometimes sellers are replay shoppers too.
Good morning, Miss Dolores.
So, what I saw also is, as a replay shopper, you have the option to watch the video over and over, right? You can go back, you can scroll back, you can do everything. Like you don't have to watch the video one time as you watch the live. So you have the option to go, stop, go look at the item again, go look at the item again. You can look at the item 100 times if you need to. But please, don't say sold 1, 2, 3 because you want that item. Then you say pass 1, 2, 3. Then you say sold 1, 2, 3. Then you say pass 1, 2, 3. Then you move on to the next item and you say sold 589. Then you say pass 589. Then you say sold 589.
Yeah, that's confusing.
That is for us sellers very confusing, because we be like, does she want the item or does she not want the item? Because you have really in the replay the option to look at the item. You can stop the video and you can look at the item and you can make your decision there. Do not go back and forth like you. I don't even know what to say on that. So.
Okay, so I will get to that after I finish this up.
It didn't happen to me yet, but I saw it on other sellers' lives.
Right.
So this is really, really, and I see that because it comes on the business page. So I'd be like, wow, what's going on?
Okay. Good morning, Miss Holmes. So what I'm saying is it's always about respect at the end of the day, okay? Someone's still your elder. It doesn't matter whether you're the owner. You still need to respect them in that capacity. But I'm telling you, if you practice good etiquette, then you don't have to worry about that person, being upset. And sometimes they may have a different speech that you don't understand or like. I think I was speaking with Miss Holmes the other day, and we were talking, and I was telling her that when you have somebody that's from the 40s and 50s, right? They have a different mentality on money, holding on to money, what they should and shouldn't spend. Even after they may have claimed items, they have a whole different view. They're not familiar with technology. They may have somebody working and doing things for them. It's not easy for them. So lots of times when we're new school or 3 generations under them, right? We don't understand that. So we're always pushing and pressing, but we're not understanding. That's why I say demographics are so important, because you need to start understanding who your clients are, what if they have jobs, are they working, are they on SSI, are they disabled, are they in a hospital, are they healthy, if they are working, how many hours they're working. You need to start understanding and paying attention to these things because you can figure it out. You can even ask and say, hey, I need information on my clients, okay? You can get all this information. When's their birthday? How long have they been married? You need to know these things because that's going to teach you how to have the etiquette for them. It's going to teach you how to sell to them. It's going to teach you how to treat them. But without knowing demographics, and I tell every seller, you need to know demographics. Not one seller that I've trained to them they've ever heard demographics or hearing that they need to know that. But you need to know demographics. It's important. You need to know who you're selling to. What's your age group? What's your age population? You need to know that. It's going to teach you what you're dealing with. You may be dealing with baby boomers. You may be dealing with people that's around the end of the Second World War. You may be dealing with a lot of different things, and their mentality is different. Okay, so I'm telling people this because this is important because I want to see everybody getting along. I want to see everybody treating each other the right way. So this is important. Okay, a lot of people may not think it is, but it is. It's very important. Okay, so treat people good. And I'm like I said, I'm not saying I'm pointing fingers on this situation I mentioned earlier, but what I'm telling you is you got to be patient with people. Okay, you can lose a good customer because you're so worried about getting your money. And guess what, sellers? Sellers, this is not about being convenient for you. The customer is right. That's the old saying, and that's the reason why they said that. Okay, this is not about things being convenient for you. It's not. It's not about you want to have all this done, I have all this moved, I have all this sent, I have all this packed, I have all this shifted over here, or have everything underneath this letter in the alphabet. It's not about that. It's about you doing right by your customers, keeping your customers, and having your customers come back time and time again and staying with you, okay? And that's important. Now, on to the replay shopping that my wife just mentioned. She said it hasn't happened to her, but she's noticed it hits her platform that people are coming in watching a replay, and they are saying, claim, then they'll say sold 1, 2, 3, pass 1, 2, 3. Sold 1, 2, 3, pass 1, 2, 3. Go down, claim 5, 4, 6, pass 5, 4, 6. And they do this all through the live as a replay shopper. And like my wife said, you got the ability to go back and forward, stop, pause, freeze, screenshot everything you can when you're a replay shopper. So the proper way for you to replay shop is to put replay sold 1, 2, 3. That way that number can generate to their sales history, and they can know that they've got some more items or you're buying an item, and you screenshot it and send it to that seller's messenger to let them know, hey, this is the item that I claim, this is the item that I want, do you have it? Okay. But if you put in sold 1, 2, 3, if you put in replay sold 1, 2, 3, they know you're a replay shopper. This is the claim word. This is the claim number. And if it's there, it's normally going to populate. But you never know if that seller may have committed to somebody else. So that's why you take that screenshot and you put, I claim, do you have this? I claim this item on a replay. Replay sold 1, 2, 3, okay? And do it formally and do it the right way. So that way you help everybody. Because sometimes you can lose an item like that as a client, but also helps that seller know exactly where they need to be looking in their rack or in whatever they're doing in order to facilitate the process of you getting the item that you need. Okay? That's about respect and about courtesy too. Okay? So I agree, but it's also reciprocity, respect, begets respect. Absolutely. And you're right, because it should be both ways, okay? But I have no idea. There's nothing on the screen.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know how to work my wife's phone. She's got one of them updated phones, and I still got my Note 10. That's perfect for me. I don't need that. That's a little bit too much for me. But I apologize for that. Yes, you're right with the respect, right? But what I do say is this: I practice that even if somebody disrespects me, I'm still not going to go to that level, right? Because I tell you something that I learned, and I learned this within my own family. When somebody does something to you, you're not things like, well, I'm gonna get them back, or I'm gonna hold that grudge, and I'm gonna the next chance I get, I'm gonna give it back to them, right? But you don't know if that person has been around people that are like you planning to be all the time their whole life, how are they ever gonna come over to the other side to understand how not to be disrespectful, how not to be that person that they are if you charge them up the same way that they charged you up? There is no leadership, there is no example being there. So we have to practice sometimes biting our tongue and still speaking with respect. And I give you an example of that. I was in the store about a month ago, and we were thrifting. This lady came in. She had to been about probably anywhere from 65 to 75 years old. She was in there with her daughter. Her daughter must have been between 45 and 50. Now, there was another lady at the counter. The mother had never been in the store before. Her daughter told her to come into the store. The daughter was talking to someone in line. The mother thought the lady at the register was finished, that was already there. And when she went up there, she asked her a question, and then the lady the client that was at the register cussed out the mother. Now, when the daughter saw this, she went from 0 to 1 million. She ran up there and she was arguing with the lady, and she said, "You got the right one. That's my mother right there you're talking to. I'm telling you, you got the right one today. You think I'm talking to my mother like that?" So they started arguing, and the mother stepped off and stood up to the side and was quiet. Okay? I want you guys to hear this story. And at this moment, I'm at the other register and I'm shocked, right? You know, and I'm like, just ignorance is what I'm thinking, right? It's ignorance. So they're arguing, and then the daughter walks out. She's like, "Come on, Mom, let's go." And she was the next one in line, so she was standing down at the end of where we were at. And I'm like, man, this is not good. So the mother stepped to the lady and she said, "Hi, sweetie, what's your name?" She told her her name, and she said, let me pull this back. And she said, I want to tell you something. She says, she goes, "I apologize. I thought that you were done at the register. I didn't mean no harm by it. I've never been to the store. This is my first time in the store." And then she goes, "Oh, it's okay, ma'am." You know, her whole demeanor changed. And she goes, "It's okay, man. I was just saying with her." She goes, "You know what?" She goes, "My daughter is like that because I'm her mother. You know, I presume you would probably be the same way about your mother." She's like, "Yes, ma'am." She goes, "But you know what? It still don't make it right what you said to her, and it don't make it right what my daughter said to you. Okay?" And she says, "But I want you to know that I don't have no offense taken to it. And I think that, you know, we can all be better as people like that than talking to each other like that over something simple, okay? When we don't understand, we should ask." And she goes, "I want to give you a hug and let you know that God loves you." And then that woman took her back from the counter and walked off. And then when she walked down to where the daughter was, they apologized, made it, and she left out of the store. Now, I'm watching this, right? And I said, wow. Maturity. The old way. The old way was how that mother was. The old way. It reminded me of my mother. When I was in school, they used to say, "Your mom this and mom that." And then my mother told me, she goes, "I don't ever want you to get involved in that." And I said, "Why?" She goes, "Because you know who your mother is and what your mother is, and she isn't. So that should never affect you." And that reminded me of that same situation. That she was tactful. She didn't get mad and say, "You said this and said that." She was saying, "Hey, everybody was wrong. We need to speak better. I love you anyway. God loves you. Have a very nice day." Now, I asked how many people could have stepped in that same situation that are sellers on any platform, that sellers that we have. How many could have stepped in that situation and did the same thing? I don't even know that I could have. You know, because we get defensive about what we feel like that area of that protection is, right? We don't want nobody pressing our buttons and stepping inside our AO, inside our boundary, right? So that's why we get defensive. We may be having a bad day and we just had enough, right? But what I'm saying is, when I saw that, I said, it's still good in this life. It's still people. They got a good head on their shoulders, you know? And I said, you know what? I'm going to put that into my repertoire and try to be more patient, to be more understanding, even when somebody disrespected me, okay? So also understand that it may not be that they may still be disrespectful. Even if you are respectful, we still got to be poised as a seller. We still got to be strapped into that seat with our seatbelt and still do the right thing. Because at the end of the day, it's only about the right thing. Okay? And that's all I'm going to say on that. So, and I love you guys to death. And why am I telling you guys this? Because when I saw those situations, I didn't see who was right and wrong. I saw how it could be better, and everybody can be satisfied in the process, not just one way of being right. Because she did this, I did this, and because I did this, she did this. I said, hey, at the end of the day, you're trying to get paid. You want to make sure they understand why the payment is here. Let's work together, say it in a nice way. Even if we got to burn our tongue and say it a certain way, we got to say it, okay? So, let me get back to this. So that's respect and courtesy, okay? Now, also, I want you guys to understand, please understand that there's a difference in a ghoster and a non-payer. A ghost is exactly what it is. It is a ghost. It is a ghost. It is in the wind. They shop. You have no information. You can't contact them. If you do finally contact them, they still do not answer you. They see your messages. They're a ghost. There is no communication contact. That is a ghost, or they're in the wind, okay? Therefore, if you want to block them, whatever you want to do, that's fine, okay? But if you're talking to that person and they decide not to pay you, they're just a non-payer. You can still block them and do whatever you want, but that is a non-payer, okay? And non-paying clients, when you're upset, is not always the right answer either. Okay? Sometimes you gotta be paying attention to what's going on those platforms, what they're saying, what they're doing. Ask questions. And I know sometimes sellers are not reading comments and answering questions because they're in their groove and stuff. But you know what? If keep those numbers, write those numbers down, get to them at the end of the message, at the end of the show, message them and find out what's going on. But don't just shop because you think this is what it is and it's not either, because that doesn't make it easier for the seller. And what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to have sellers on here on these news breaks, and they're going to be talking to you about what their experiences are, what are some things that make shows work, not work, what things bother them. I'm going to have them on here talking too, because I believe that the community needs to be talking and sharing too. It's not just Mr. Clark, okay? So I want you to hear directly from sellers so you guys know exactly what's going on, because I feel like that's important. But that's the difference between a ghost and a non-payer. And I want you guys to understand that that person may block you, okay? They may put you on a ghost list, they may. But if you make a commitment with them, I always say, I tell my son that when you give your word is a promise, okay? And what you say for somebody that you're going to do, you're going to do. I hold my son to his word, and I make him accountable, and I'm accountable for mine too. So what I'm saying is that if you choose to buy from a person, that's a commitment, you know? If you can't keep that commitment, don't be embarrassed. Say, hey, I can't pay you right now. Can I pay you here? And that seller may say whatever it is that they say. They may say yes, no, or I've had this promise you before. You're not doing this, not doing that. Okay, whatever it is. But be honest, be transparent, communicate. Okay? Which leads me to my last point that I have for you guys, which is sharing and tagging. Now, I had a seller that came on yesterday. They came in from another platform. They came into our platform. They did not share and tag. Their whole live crashed. Okay? Whole live crashed. Now, I put it out on a slide. I put it out verbally here. Listen to me, queens. Listen to me. Okay? Sharing and tagging is one of the most important things that you can do for your live show. It is a form of promotion. It is a form. If you got loyal customers, okay? If you've got people that follow you, okay? They're going to follow you whether you're on my platform, the next platform, or the platform after that. But you need to tag them into your live show. If you're over on a platform, tag your people into your live show. Okay? Share the live on your page. Have your people share the live on their page. On your page, not on my business page, not on their business page. Share the live on your page, on your personal page, okay? Have them do that. It is going to increase your sales 20 to 30%. I'm telling you, like I said, Mr. Loris did this. We watched this not even 3 weeks ago. She did the same thing. She boosted her numbers up to 29 just from tagging, okay? You have to share and tag, okay? That's one of the things that we require every seller to do on our platform. So if you're new and you haven't heard this information, here it is now. You come to our platform, make sure, yep, everybody's tagging. Tag 10, share once, okay? So, but, there you go, Ms. Janelle. She said communication is the key. Don't just view the message, just ignore, then respond when you have money. Not good practice. Yeah. So you got, like I said, and if you ever hear Miss Coleman on here too, she'll say, and I've heard others say to shop responsibly. If you don't have the money, don't shop. Okay. That they say that for a reason, so you don't run into this headache. That's kind of how they mitigate that at the beginning, okay? And like I said, I'm not one pointing fingers, but what at the end of the day, for me, when you bring it to me, I'm trying to get the seller paid. I'm trying to make sure that you have the items, and I'm trying to make sure there is no arguing in between that, okay? Everybody, but we have to work together, okay? We're not going to go tit for tat and arguing and being disrespectful. We got to get through this process, okay? So I want everybody to work together and be willing to work together, okay? And if you can't, then finish your transaction and then separate. That's fine too. Sometimes it's better that way, all right? But sharing and tagging is important, okay? You have to share and tag. I know one of the problems that I've heard, through the grapevine, they say, okay, I don't want to tag my people because they may be trying to steal my people. Okay, listen, my wife is tagging 10. If I'm there, I'm going to tag 10. I got 2 admins that are tagging 10 people. That's 30 tags. Then your tags, that's 40 tags, okay? So you should be able to get something sold and something done in that process. It's not the platform. You've got to follow the protocol, not of our platform, but on every platform you need to share and tag. I don't care where you go. This is important. This is going to help your sales. You should be able to get 5, 10 sales at a minimum anywhere that you go just by sharing and tagging. And if you have that loyal following, if you've got a good rapport with your clients, they're going to follow you. Okay. And like I always tell you that, how you treat those clients that you have is going to be how many clients you end up with and how well you get treated. And it's just that simple, it's that important. Okay. So I'm laying this out for you guys because it's on my heart because I want to see everybody successful. I don't want to see anybody coming out of there with no sales, feeling disgruntled, feeling frustrated, feeling upset, because it doesn't have to be that way. Okay. So, I want you guys to understand that because it's on my heart to tell you guys that. Okay, you got to share and tag. You may forget share and tag. Hey, if you come from over there and you got somebody that can help you share and tag, bring them in, bring your people, let them share and tag for you. That's fine. I got it. But you need to tag your people, okay? Tag your people because we don't know who your shoppers are. And you may not have that rapport with our clients. So that's why you see them that are like, well, they're just looking and they're not shopping. Well, they don't even know you yet. It's the first time on a platform. They're trying to figure you out and see what's going on. You trying to figure out why they're not shopping. But you didn't bring in none of your people. That makes no sense, okay? So, and this is about trust, right? You're coming on that platform because you want to gain new clients, new customers. True indeed. Everybody's doing that. So you got to build that trust. You got to build that trust. Bring your people in. Show your side. We show on our side. We're bringing in our people and work that cohesion together, okay? So what we got? And also tag and help yourself because sometimes for customers forget what time you go live. Yep.
It is also
and says
I forgot one point.
Takes time, but it helps in the end. Yeah, it takes time, but
it is also with the building trust, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's because of everywhere a ghost us, right? On every platform or somewhere ghost us. So shoppers don't trust like right away and shop with you for $100 or $200 because
Mm-hmm.
they don't know if they're gonna get their packages or not.
Mm-hmm.
So they're probably gonna, if they don't know you,
Mm-hmm.
they try, to get 1 or 2 items and see if you're gonna ship the item.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You gotta build trust.
Right. I just want to set her on there. She's on there right now, and I noticed from her she sent in some big spenders to a person's live, and the person wasn't reading comments and doing all kinds of stuff, right? And so they weren't willing to shop because they didn't know if they're going to get the items because the person wasn't responding to messages or anything. And when I say big spenders, these people are spending $300-400 on there. I just put it out there like that. They lost both them, all 3 of them, and they say they're never coming to their live again. And this is what I'm saying. You gotta, in certain ways, you gotta do things on here if you want to keep that feed going. The calendar link is updated to September 30 due to changes coming October 1st. Great sellers on Purple Patch Boutique. Keep up the good work, everyone, and also keep your sales most of the time. Also help your sales most of the time. The customer will share you out as well to their friends, family members. Yes, ask your people to do that too. And where's my other admin? My other admin gave me some information too. So my other admin, Trisha Michael, says, don't devalue your past to build your future. That's what you do when you don't invite your followers and past shoppers. And then my other admin said the calendar link is updated to September 30. So the calendar link is updated to September 30 because of the changes coming on October 1st, as I said before. And she says, keep up the good work, everyone. You guys are great sellers. So that came from our admin. And my other admin, like she said, when you don't share and tag and invite your shoppers, you devalue them, okay? They feel like they're not important too, So, yep, there is enough for everybody to win. Yep, and Miss Janelle said the same thing. And that's what it's about. See how you guys are communicating, talking now? Everybody's putting in their 2 cents here, right? And pretty soon we're gonna have $1 because everybody's putting in 2 cents that needs to be there. Okay, so we need to start putting our eggs in those baskets where they need to be and not where they don't need to be. Okay. This is good feedback right here. Everything you guys are saying is correct. Okay. I don't even have to say so much, You guys check out these points and look over this stuff that they're commenting because it is, everybody can win because it's about being satisfied. Everybody's trying to do different things for everybody, okay? So, at the end, we have to work together, okay? That's all I'm preaching right now We got to work together. We all have good days and bad days. We all have things going on where we're just not feeling it. And situations can happen where arguments happen. But we also got to be willing to come and make it right and say, hey, let's do what we need to do. You know, I apologize. Hey, how can I rectify this? Hey, and sometimes if you got to lose $4 or $5 in order to get $50, then do it. Okay. You know, if you gotta lose $3 and you get $30, then do it. You know, it's okay. You know, sometimes I feel like that we want to win. We feel like, man, if I take this, I'm taking an L, and you know, and you're not really taking an L, right? You know, but sometimes I think that we put up that wall too because we've been mistreated so much on the other end as a seller that we're not willing to work over here because we've seen this same face of so we've been there, right? So I'm just saying, you know, we got to figure it out, and I'm here to help you figure it out, you know, and we get through it together, you know, even if we got to lean on each other and get through the process, okay? And like I said, it's not just one-sided. 50% is a seller, 50% is a client, okay? So she says, what are the changes? Sorry, I'm late. Okay, so Miss Sabrina. Matter of fact, Miss Sabrina was my seller of the week too last week. So I actually got an updated slide that I got to put out. Slideshow's going to be about 10 slides. It's going to have the updates on. I think Miss Minnie Holmes is on there. I think Miss Bridget Hawkins is on there. I think Miss Angela Lynette Green is on there for the most, and Miss Coleman is on there too on that slide too for earnings and most views. Okay. So I got to send out that updated. So be looking for that to hit the page today on 9/11. The changes is that starting October 1st, the live shows will be $7.77. Okay, $7.77. Okay. If you want a live show and a booster, it would be $10 and $7.77. We're breaking that all down to $15. Okay, so it's going to be live show, booster, $15. Okay. So the live shows are going to be $7.77. Okay. And now if you want unlimited lives for the month, it's going to be a $50 rate. Okay. $50. You can go live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can go live 31 days in a month. And you can go live 3 times a day if you want to, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is completely up to you. Okay. So that is what it is. And if you guys don't want to watch this whole replay, I always take my videos, I roll them up into a slide, and it just bullets all the points we talked about in here. And you go through 10 slides, it's going to bullet the points, and you have it. You can even save that information for yourself so you can reference for yourself. That's why I do the slides, so you have access to information too. I'm not one to not share information. I want you to get better. I want you to have it. I give you the information, okay? So, the cancellation fees out the window because your fees are non-refundable. So if you don't make your live show for $7.77, you lose that. Okay. So everything is non-refundable. Your what you schedule is gonna. Yeah, I said that.
Okay, and 50 basically for the whole month.
Yep.
Including picture wardrobe.
Right. I didn't get. That's what I forgot.
That's
what I forgot. You're right. See, my wife in there telling me, "Hey, you forgot this." I thought I had it down. I didn't. I forgot. Picture wardrobe is free. Okay. Yeah. So that means that if you're a shopper and you want to get in on the year for the whole year, $10. There's a link on the page. I have to probably repopulate it. That's what you're going to get. Okay, you'll get from August to August you get a year, and you can post on the picture wall drop. You have access to the exclusive VIP lounge. You're still going to get your 10%. You know, etc. And I'm giving out discounts anyway, okay? Sometimes I see somebody on there that shop me 5 times. I'd be like, you shop more than 5 times, here's 10% off. I'm doing stuff like that. I always tell you guys, check your invoice. I'm doing all kinds of stuff, right? But remember, it's not refundable. When you book your lives, it's going to be due upon scheduling your live, $7.77. Okay? It's going to be what the lives are going to be. It's going to be $15 for live and a boost. It's going to be $50 a month for unlimited lives. And you got free picture wall drop, okay? And you got access to the club, I believe. So that is going to be the recap on that. That's going to be the major changes. If you scheduled in October, please, like I said, it's going to be deleted. It's going to be done. So I believe that Miss Coleman, my admin expert, took care of that. Remember, our idea innovator, our little side genius, Trisha Michael, is my other admin. LaToya Coleman and Trisha Michael are my admins. Trisha Michael is handling that VIP group, And she's our idea maker. So like I said, when you see Purple Passions and Purple Pay and all that stuff, that's been her ideas that we've brought to fruition here. And then you've got that expertise in how we're approaching and seeing things and getting through things. It's gonna be my admin expert. She's got the experience from being somewhere everywhere, and she's holding it down and giving a lot of good guidance on our platform. Okay, those are my two admins. Okay, so if you can't figure it out, you need some assistance, contact one of them too. You can also contact us. You guys know I'm escalation, so I'm trying to take care of everything as quiet as possible and make sure that everything is going smooth. Let's get along. Let's love each other. Let's remember 9/11. Okay, and I love all of you guys. I want you guys to have a blessed day today. Don't do too much. But do what you have to do, okay? Yes, free picture wall drop, and the cancellation fee goes away as of October 1st, okay? You guys have been beautiful. Look for this information on there. I want everybody to view it, share it, bring it to your page, because I'm going to roll all this up for you guys, okay? Also, the last point, someone asked about sharing the bot. No, we're not sharing bot. Gary said that's a no-go, okay? So I want to put that out there again. And I want to appreciate you guys that have came out here and was a part of this live show today from my admins. I love you guys again. Thank you so much. My wife, thank you. And all of you sellers, you guys are doing super fantastic. I'm proud of each and every one of you. All of my shoppers, thank you for all the support and love. I'm proud of you. It has been a pleasure to have you guys in our community. Let's get better. Let's grow. Let's share. Not just share admins and platform owners and sellers share. I need all my clients, all of your clients, everybody to share the live on their pages, okay? Let's get our sellers out there. Let's bring them what they need, and let's do it together as a team. Purple Passions Boutique, okay? So that is the conclusion of the Purple Passions live news break. I wish you all a wonderful day. It's been a pleasure once again. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Mwah.